Hey, this is Victor Antonio with the Victor Report. Wait a minute. Coffee in the morning. Anyway, today on the Victor Report, I get a lot of emails from people who want to ask me my sales advice on how they can sell more products or service. And sometimes I just kind of want to just shake my head because I know a lot, but I don't know everything. And some of the questions I get are very different. So here's one, kind of left field. This is an international one. And I'll just skip the person's name. It says, "Hi, Victor, this is B." We'll just call him B. It says, "I'm doing a job on an online travel company where I need to sell my product to the customer. Since we are in a highly competitive market, how do I make sure that my product is best so that people can buy from me?" Wow, talk about a vague request. So how can it, well, let's break it down. I'm doing a job online, so he's an online travel salesperson. What do I need to increase my sales in a highly competitive market? In other words, how do we get people to buy more from me when everybody's offering similar services? And I mean, it's a good question. First of all, I don't know anything about the travel industry, so let's get that out of the way. But selling is selling. So here's what I would recommend to be. Years ago, I heard a story, and I really feel bad that I don't remember who told the story. It was a company that was telling the story, and I don't remember the company's name, but it went something like this. It's a very important story. Pay attention. So there's a bus company, a bus tour company that drives around bands, right? That's their market niche. They're tour buses for bands. And so they had a lot of money invested in these buses, right? These large tour buses. You've seen them like on MTV or some other music show, VH1, whatever it may be. And so they thought that the best way to grow their business, to get more clients, right, more bands to actually rent their tour buses, that they should upgrade their buses. So they upgraded the buses, added all the cool features, did everything that you could do to a bus to make it look hot and happening, right? So people would actually want to rent the buses, the tour buses. Well, after spending all that money, they barely moved the needle on the sales. In other words, it didn't increase by that much. At the beginning, not even enough to cover their investment on upgrading all the different buses. So during the brainstorming session, somebody just had the simple question. Said, instead of trying to figure out what customers want, why don't we just ask them? Why don't we just ask the customers what we want? So they turned around and they actually started doing that. They started asking basically these band managers, what would make you contract one bus tour company over another? And the immediate response, well, they're both similar. This bus has this and maybe that bus has that, so there's not a lot of differentiation. But the one thing we look for, pay attention, is we always base who we're going to rent the bus from based on the drivers. Think about that for a second. Their key decision point is not, both bus tour companies, let's say, are the same, A and B, right? So what they're really basing their decision on is the driver. Because think about it, if you're in a band and you're touring, right, and that driver has to drive all night, so you need somebody who's dependable, somebody who has had a background check. So immediately the company went back, created this bus tour or bus driver program, certification program, where when they would hire people to actually drive these buses, they'd put them through a certification program, do a background check, and make sure that these were the best drivers in the industry. And that became their unique selling proposition. We have the most reliable drivers in the industry. And guess what happened? Once they started promoting it that way, instead of selling the features of the buses compared to that one, they started talking about how they have the most reliable bus drivers, tour bus drivers, in the industry, and sales went where? Right up. So in other words, sometimes we need to ask our customers. So my response to B in this letter was, B, told them the story that I just told you, and I said, you need to ask your customers, what is it that they're looking for? What would differentiate you from your competitors? What are they not getting today that maybe you can offer them? In other words, what are you not seeing that maybe the customer needs? And that's what they should do. Sometimes we're too lazy to do our own research, but again, it's not that hard. All we have to do is really ask our customers, what do you want? And then it's our job to what? Give it to them. That's it. I'm sorry, but marketing is that simple. In today's highly competitive market, even if you made your product just a little better, your competitor's going to make it a little better after a while. Even if you made your service just a little better, your competitor's going to do the same thing. The key is to find out what really leverages the customer. Just like the bus tour example, the leverage had nothing to do with the features or the bus size, what new model it was, what year it was, the amenities inside. It really had more to do with the drivers that were being hired to actually drive the buses. That's what they were really concerned about. So the point here is, Ask your clients what's important to them, and then begin to pitch your product or service around that specific need. This is Victor Antonio with the Victor Report. We will talk to you tomorrow. Later.